Hello and welcome to another episode of the ARC Hive podcast. I am so excited for our guest today. I have Rose Napoléon from Montreal joining us on the podcast. Hello, Rose.
Hi, Amy. How you doing?
So good. And I'm so excited to have this conversation. But we first got to talk about how these two Canadians met and not in Canada,
I love this question. Absolutely. We've met in California at an amazing event.
right?
ROI is until this day the greatest thing that I've ever been to, that I've experienced.
Right?
I don't think I will ever forget about it. It was sometimes I'm lost of words because I don't know, there's nothing such as is in Montreal, and
Don't
it
think
was
actually
so
in Canada, period.
in
There,
Canada. Thank
right?
you.
I don't think because I felt the same way. Like I haven't had an experience like that ever on that
No.
and on so many levels. So we were both, and because that was your first time at ROI too, right? Yeah.
First time ROI, first time California.
Yeah. Oh, first time California. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. So beautiful venue, but here we are, two Canadians who I finally found some Canadians because I the first few days I hadn't found any Canadians.
Me too. I was actually looking for us, and then I was like, I think we sent out a message on an app that was for
Yes.
the event, and I was like, yo, is there other
Where are
people
we?
around here? Like, because we were kind of scared that people would dismiss, because with everything that happens, we almost did not go with one of my business besties. So we were like, are we the only ones?
Yeah,
But we were not. And
we
it
were not.
was random how we met, actually. It was
It
just
was
like,
random.
hey, she's Canadian. What? Okay. It was so
Canadians represented. Yeah. So we
cool.
were at this business conference, which was really, I think it'll be life-changing in my business, but also life-changing in how I do business myself. I think hopefully for you as well. Um,
Same.
and so let's dive in a little bit. I always ask at the beginning, when was the last time you felt seen or heard?
My gosh. What a great question. Okay.
You got this.
It's such a powerful question because I
Yeah.
am the one that helps my client be seen and heard. I'm the one pushing them. But you know what? Maybe it sounds a bit cheesy, but ROI was the greatest place that I felt seen and heard. Actually, I don't know for you or anybody who's gonna listen to this episode, but 2025 is a very weird year, very difficult as well. And
Yeah.
at the middle of the year, I was, like everybody, like having doubts, and also it's you're putting a lot of energy and in your business, and you're kind of be like, okay, am I doing the right things? Am I the only one putting this much effort? And am I the only one still believing that I can, you know, break through and follow my mission? But when I went there, it was not only a hype, it was like I felt seen because I saw other people that not only looked like me physically, but also spiritually. You and I, we connected, and I was like, there's other women or people or trans people, queer, that really want to build something that will be bigger than them, you
Yes.
know?
Yeah.
So I was very touched because I was like, this is it. This is what I was searching for, this kind of community for 3 years, actually. So
I didn't
yes.
need, I didn't know that I needed that kind of a community. That was
Mm,
sort of my takeaway. But I
mm-hmm.
want to circle back because I think it's so important when we are in businesses that support other businesses and entrepreneurs. We do need to a space that where we feel seen and heard outside of that because we do that for everyone around us or that we're working with. And I ask that question because I think we don't often consider it we just get busy through our life, and we also need to just have those pauses and be like, where were we in that energy? Like, where was
Mm.
that for us that really aligned? And um like I felt like, I was really seen for who I was. So I love that. It's not meant to stump you, that question.
Thank you for yeah, it's a great question. You caught me a bit off guard, but it's an important question.
Yeah. And I also think, 2025, I think you really hit the nail on the head there. And I can just really speak to the Canadian market. I know it's different in the US, but
Hmm.
it has been a really challenging year filled with uncertainty. And I feel like every day, if you dare to turn the news on, I try not to, but there is another thing, and you're like, what does this mean? How do I have to adapt or pivot? And I think like honoring that we are just in a really interesting time. Is that a
I
good
love
way to
that
put
word.
it?
Yeah.
But I also believe the interesting time will, for those of us that are in doing the work and really committed and finding our way, it will launch us to something bigger than and better than we could have ever imagined.
I love that because challenges built
Oh, yes.
diamond. What's the thing with diamond in the rough?
I mean, well, yes, like you you never learn when it goes really easy. Where you learn
No.
about really, and I think and this will go really nice into our next section here is, we don't learn when it's easy. When it's challenging, we really learn what is important to us, and
Mm.
we really learn what our core values are.
Absolutely.
So I want to before we get into core values, because I do want to talk about your core values, because everyone on this podcast fills out a little form, and Rose's core values, I'm like, yes, girl, yes, yes, yes. But I want you to tell our audience just a little bit about your personal and professional journey to this point, so they kind of see your individual, as we call it here, your individual arc.
Absolutely. So yes, my name is Rose. I am from Montreal. I am a French Canadian, so I'm in the Quebec part of this country. Born and raised. My parents are from Haiti, so I'm a immigrant, third generation. And I am a business strategist and a digital marketer. I help new founders build their business and launch their communications online. I help them one-to-one or in groups. And my journey is maybe like most of us, I'm gonna say atypical, maybe I like to put things too much in a box, but to be honest, I went out of university in 2019 and I already knew that I wanted to have my own project. And sometimes it can feel like a bit arrogant, doesn't have a lot of experience, already want to do her business. But I was working in non-for-profits and also with a little small agency with SMEs. And I realized that, there was no structure, there was nothing very streamlined to make sure that things are efficient. I'm gonna say it like that. And also to have the real opportunities that the clients deserved. But it wasn't my business. And I felt I didn't have the space really it wasn't about me to shine. It was just to have my own space. And for so many reasons, some of us don't find our space sometimes, and it's okay. But I created my business first for that, but second because I truly believe the power of communications is powerful for small businesses. And I maybe, yeah, I had the arrogance to say that I am the best to help them. So I launched it, and I started as a social media manager and also a photographer. I learned everything online, so I'm a true millennial. I learned a lot of things by myself, but I also went to school, so I was doing both things at the
Right.
same time. So I was learning as I was doing, and also I had the theory base. And then during pandemic, I launched my business, and what's really weird, I'm gonna say, is because it took off during COVID because I had the photography skill set that was amazing during 2018 and 2019. But then COVID, every event stopped. But I had the communication skill set and it was the online specialization. So every client were calling because they needed to do a campaign online, and I had freelancers working with me, and we were doing, the right storytelling at the right space, and clients were getting results very quickly, and they really
Mm,
enjoy working with us. And that was the my first experience, as an entrepreneur. And then in 2023, I pivoted to help businesses, but the new founder. So I'm doing one-to-one. I used to do done for you before as an agency model, but I changed to do it like more in the consulting mode.
nice.
So yeah.
Yeah. And I think, such an important service that entrepreneurs don't even know they need. And they do need it, right? It is, I always say, entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart.
Nope, not at all.
And
Mm-mm-mm.
and then we don't always know the skills maybe we don't that we need, that we don't maybe have, or we're learning a lot of them as we go, but that we can really like, I believe, like, getting into those founders and as they're starting out and preparing really to launch, if entrepreneurs ask for help in that stage, it actually can take you from, like, not 0 to 1 or 2. You can get from 0 to 10 and really start to get traction in the business, and the right traction. So
Right.
I think your journey is, all of us have a different journey into entrepreneurship, and I love that there's still many pivots that are happening in that. Um, and I think more and more entrepreneurship is becoming more and more mainstream. It is not more people are, even if it's a side hustle, it doesn't necessarily have to be their full-time gig, but they're finding that, I don't know, it just changes you. There's something about entrepreneurship that gives you the freedom, and you definitely were the one, not being arrogant, saying the best one to serve them. You had the skills, and you are the best one too. So don't shortchange yourself there.
Thank you so much, Amy.
So let's talk about these core values,
Right.
because I think this is another place entrepreneurs don't spend enough time initially. Like, when I teach entrepreneurs, Pilates entrepreneurs is mostly health and wellness entrepreneurs I teach,
Mm.
is we spend a lot of time on core values, because
Amazing.
what I've learned about core values myself is, if I'm not clear about my core values, I get out of alignment very quickly. I say yes
Bingo.
to things that don't align with what I want or what I'm trying to do. So, would you be willing to share some of those core values that we can chat about? Because I think it's important for other entrepreneurs to hear what, not all of our core values will be the same, and that's okay.
Thank you so much for that, because first, before telling you my values, I'm going to tell you something, and something valuable for the audience. So whether you're an entrepreneur, the very first thing we need to do when we're launching a business is to know yourself, is to
Mm-hmm.
know who you are,
Mm-hmm.
and to have because sometimes we have a perception of ourselves that is not
Yes.
what people see, sometimes
Yes.
because we're not authentic or we're pretending or because we don't know. But this is the brand, you know,
Mm-hmm.
core. And the values are part of knowing yourself. So this is so smart to start with that and to share that to your entrepreneurs, by the way. So good job.
We, but but again, it came from the lesson of, I thought I knew more core values. And I also think there's a permission here to reevaluate your core values from time to time. As you
Yeah,
grow and change, your core values might just shift ever so slightly, and that's okay.
absolutely.
Yeah,
So yes, let me share some of my core values and I'll explain the why. The top one is abundance.
which I
Um,
love.
it's a word that speaks so much to me, as at one point my business name is Abundance Bureau, by the way. because of the reason I'm gonna tell you. I grew up, I did not grow up in the street, but it's a poor, background,
Hmm.
with a single mother that really worked hard, for me and my sister. And I always felt that, money and beyond was not accessible. But I
Hmm.
realized through the time, and I'm want to make a connection with what you said about entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is like a self-development on booster, because you're gonna learn about yourself so much, and everything that I did not realize, like a relationship with money, was something very that I really needed to work on, and I'm still working on. But I realized that abundance is not only money, and it's beyond that. And that's why I love this word. And I made it my tagline, as if opportunities are endless, as in life and as in business. And that's the vision of abundance.
Oh, that is so good. That is so good. And listen, write that down that you're listening to this, right? Opportunities are endless.
Yes,
And believe that because, just for an example of how here we're sitting in two ends of the country, met in California, and we're having this conversation. If you're open to that opportunity, they are endless, and don't be afraid to ask for it. So good.
I love that. Exactly. So this is my foundation, right? So that's my first core value. The second one is also boldness. I think this word was a bit overused throughout the years, and maybe people don't understand what it means. But boldness is, especially in what we're doing, and maybe that's another lesson, marketing incomes. Everybody listen. What's going on when you want to share your story is that everybody has a unique story, but when you do it online, you're kind of competing with the attention of people. So you need to be bold about wanting to share it and not being afraid of showing your true colors.
Mm-hmm.
And where I'm going with that is, with my clients, what happened is that sometimes they're scared of showing up, whether it's online or even, in real life. And when I tell them that what you're doing is bold, and have some courage, to say what's really in your heart, because that's the only way you're gonna touch the others, it helps them. And to be very honest, also, if it costs you more to be boring, to be honest.
There's another one. There's another mic drop. It costs you more to be boring,
Yes,
right? Because
especially
nobody is good. It's not going to resonate with anybody.
no.
If you don't stand in who you are, you're not going to attract that client who is attracted to who you are and what you do.
Absolutely.
Ah, I
So
love
I
it. I love
I
it.
I, I really love the boldness, and all throughout my journey, that's the word that resonates also, because it takes a bold person to
Mhm.
dare to think they can succeed when everything on paper can tell them no, you cannot, So I really like this word, and it's why it's part of my value. And the two last ones, it's education and creativity. And education, you're gonna understand maybe by listening. I love to teach in a way to share knowledge. So education to me is important. And also, just so you know, because you said that, oh, maybe entrepreneurs when they're starting, and or maybe seasoned entrepreneur, they don't know sometimes what they don't know, what they need, sorry. And sometimes, marketing incomes are misunderstood, because, I feel that in the education space, it kind of stayed in the academics. And what
Right.
I mean by that is, every entrepreneur that I talk, whether it's on one-on-ones or in group, till this day, they don't know the basics. Even though there's so many content online, they really don't understand it. And I'm always wondering, like, how come, like, I got this in university, but then in the real world,
Mhm.
it's like I'm speaking another language. So to me, education is important at this point because it's like I'm bringing what's up there and unreachable to people. I don't like to
Right.
say that we're like at the bottom, but it feels like some powerful people have all the knowledge, and I'm like, no, let me bring this to people
Yeah.
that actually needs it. But education way makes it easier to be transmitted.
Yes.
So that's why it's so important for me. And the last one is creativity. And yes, maybe, I feel like maybe you will feel I'm like a Mrs. Know-it-all, but the real definition of creativity is to something that does not exist. Sometimes people they mix it up with art because they don't really understand the difference. But
Mhm.
truly, if you look it up, something that is creative is something that was not done before.
Mhm.
And to me, it's important because it's my core business. When I said to you that I'm a business strategist and digital marketing strategist, it's because I'm creating offers that do not exist for my clients. And I'm creating brands for them that do not exist. We need to be creative also because sometimes we don't have a lot of resources. Sometimes it's limited. But the more it's limited, the more we can have fun with it and find other solutions. So that's why these are my values. It's part of my business and it's part of my life as well.
Yeah. Creativity is one of mine as well. I need
Oh,
I need that. I like, and that took me a little bit to learn in terms of um in entrepreneurship, that I really I make creative time in my schedule. I need thinking time and dreaming
mm-hmm.
time, and that create like what if? What if we did this? The what would that, playing that game?
I love the word what if. That's
Yeah.
what I say to my clients when we are in the vision workshop and I'm giving them recommendations and I'm like, what if this could be your brand? Wow, we're so aligned. Thank
So aligned.
you. What? That's
So
great.
aligned. So now let's shift as we shift from our from the ARC into our Hive. Let's talk about community approach in entrepreneurship. What does community mean to you? How is it part of what you do and part of what you are creating?
Love that question. So community to me, it's almost equals to the word ecosystem.
Mm,
So to me, it's something that englobes us, surrounds us, and have elements that complement us,
yes,
so we can be stronger together. And
love
it's
it.
something that I realize also throughout the years that every level that I want to reach, I cannot doing it by myself.
Oh,
um,
yes. Yes, girl.
it's impossible.
We can't. We can't. We are not meant to do it alone,
No,
and we need each other.
absolutely. And to make a full circle with the first question regarding to be seen, what happened? Because when I said that I was looking for an ecosystem like, Hello Seven that we recognize from 2 years ago, is because I went to spaces that I thought were good for me in appearance, but were not aligned. So to me, community is not it's so important because I want to be myself, I want to be
Mhm.
respected and I want to be seen for who I really was. I think I was hiding when I started because I wanted to be a people pleaser. And then
Mhm.
I realized that that's not who I am. I'm someone who speaks her mind, and sometimes maybe people will not like it, but I cannot hide. That's who I am. And I need to be in spaces with people who would understand that. And I can tell you, I bump my head a lot of times because, not being authentic or trying to be a people pleaser. But now I find it and I'm so happy. Even yesterday, I did an event with two of people that I really respect in my field. And we had a meeting. It was a summer event for entrepreneurs. And to me, this is a community we're building. People were
Mhm.
like, it was their first time we're doing it. They're already asking for more. People need to be together. People need to be
Mhm.
maybe co-creating stuff like we're doing with the podcast.
Yeah.
So yes, community to me is an engine in itself. It's crucial.
I always say community is your superpower in your business. And whether you're creating to recognize you're creating micro communities at every stage, right? You're creating, in my world, it's they're creating usually Pilates studios, but your studio is a little micro community. And that
Mm-hmm.
community, don't ever underestimate the power of how you treat that community and then how that community goes back out to their communities
Mm-hmm.
and shows up. And we're it's all interconnected. In Pilates,
Mm-hmm.
we always say the body, it's all connected.
Mm-hmm.
We are all connected. And I think, I'll share my biggest fear when I started, and I've been in business almost 10 years.
Mm.
My biggest fear was showing up online.
No
That
way.
I know everyone gets really surprised by that, but it was really one of my biggest fears as an entrepreneur to have to show up in this online space and not. I'm a little older. I didn't come, like internet was just coming out when I was in university. We had to go to a lab. We weren't connected all the time. So I had to learn what showing up in that space meant.
Mm-hmm.
And again, maybe unpopular is I had to decide for me what how I was going to use that space.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it wasn't to use the space to like show up and like you'll sometimes see me do Pilates moves, but you don't see me doing Pilates moves all the time because it's not about me. It's about a greater
Mm.
purpose. And for me, it's what flipped it for me was it's the beginning of a conversation. So believe me, all of us have some kind of fear or some kind of ROI. I was terrified. I didn't know anybody. I didn't know any Canadians. I didn't, you know, and but I also knew that walking through that fear or that story I was telling in my head, what could be on the other side. And I've done a whole podcast episode. It's kind of on this,
Mm.
talking about it was better than I could have ever imagined. So I
Wow.
think I think that's we underestimate the power of community. And before we jumped online, we were talking about the power of the network. How are we
Yes.
using our networks in all things in business? If you had one piece of advice to give a brand new entrepreneur about community, what would it be?
Oh my. Love this question. Okay, let me just 2 seconds.
Yes.
An advice for an entrepreneur about community. I'm gonna give the advice, but I need to do the segue is because in communications and marketing,
Mhm.
people buy because they know you. And I think people, well, yeah, it makes the connection. So, but that's a real principle. But if you remove the marketing stuff, maybe sometimes people don't even like marketing, but it's about relationship with humans. And marketing and communications, to be honest, why I absolutely love it is because the power of that when we connect brands with people that don't know each other because it's a fit, to me, that's the
Mhm.
magical part. But the community is kind of the same thing. So the advice here is really to be true to yourself. And I know it sounds like cheesy and maybe you already like heard this, but it cannot be like it's so true. Like
Mhm.
I will not buy from someone that I don't know or understand. And if somebody like you refer me to someone from your circle, I will consider it more than somebody that I looked up on Google. So yeah, the advice is be true to yourself. Don't be afraid to show up and let yourself be surprised by people, you
Yes.
know?
Yes. And just I think for me, what I would add just to that is just be open. Be
Yeah,
open to another human story because you never know
mm,
how it's going to connect you,
absolutely.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, one last question here. As as you help these founders or these entrepreneurs in the messy middle, like where we're, trying to, make this work, what would be one thing you would whisper in their ear? If you could just be that little voice sitting on their shoulder when they're having, let's say in 2025, having a year where you're like, I have whiplash because I'm not sure what that means for my business. What would you whisper in their ear?
To be honest, do not be afraid to ask for help.
Amen.
I know you're gonna listen to this and you're like, yeah, I can do this, I can do that by myself. We talk about community, but other than that, there are experts that know what they're doing out there. You can
Mhm.
search for them, you can ask them questions, take all the time that you need to. But you need, at some point, there's a limit you're gonna reach that will prevent you to go where you need to go. So you need to invest in a and trust somebody else.
Yes.
Okay? Do
Yes.
not stay in your head by yourself because you're gonna have where you're driving and you don't see the truck. How you call that? I forget.
Your blind spot.
Your blind spot, exactly. You need somebody you can trust that has experience to help you. So number one thing is to invest in help.
And invest in it sooner than you think.
Yes, please. Not when it's don't wait to crumble.
That's
Just
right.
a bit before.
That's right. Because that, I think we sometimes wait too long.
Yes, we
So that
do.
was one thing Rachel Rogers taught me when I found
Mm.
her book, and Rachel's the head of ROI. It's really because of her, but she had said, okay, how are you going to get time back? And you're going to get time back is why are you cleaning your house on your day? And so housekeeper. So
I
literally
love
like in
it.
a matter of 2 weeks after finished reading who
We shall be
we
millionaires.
should all be me. I was like, who wants to be a millionaire? And I knew that wasn't right. We should all be millionaires.
Hmm.
Is I hired a housekeeper twice a month, and then I hired a VA. And I started,
Yes.
and now I've got a podcast manager. I've got to get that time off of me to be less in my business and doing the things that I need to do to continue to grow. So don't wait too long.
Yes. Oh
Well,
man. Wow.
yeah. Rose, thank you so much for joining me on this podcast. We are going to leave all your contact info. Um, I'm going to just put that call out, especially to Canadians, because I know in this time, Canadians tend to want to be really supporting Canadian businesses. Any
Yes.
of you entrepreneurs, this is a great business to help you, to get you the help you need to help grow your business. And Rose is your girl.
Thank you
She
so
is
much,
your
Amy.
girl. So thank you so much for joining me, and I can't wait to see you back here very soon.
Thank you, Amy.